What is going on, guys? Welcome back to yet another War of the Visions video. Today we're tackling a very important topic, which is Espers. I know a lot of you guys out there have been asking a lot of questions about Espers. Who is good for what character? How should we be building different Espers? We're going over all of that for you today. So once again, thank you guys for spending a little bit of your time here today as we go over this topic, and thank to you guys for spending a little bit of your well-earned keep supporting the channel via Patreon, as well as by becoming YouTube channel members. You guys are the backbone of the channel, and we couldn't do it without you. So with no further ado, so the first one, guys, we're going to be going over is Golem. Golem is noted as like the tanky, bulky Esper, but that's not all he needs to be. He does give you some significant girth with the 963 HP at max level, but he still does have some nice attack, 85 attack, a little bit slow on the agility of 33, magic, 10 agility, 61 dex, 61 luck here, and he is going to give you 5 weakness to wind and 10 resistance to thunder for being equipped here. But the board is the most unique aspect about this Esper, because you can make him give you extra tankiness, or you can actually just make him like a DPS Esper if that's what you're going for. So the 3 main paths that we're looking at here are the defense increase path. You can get 15 extra defense from Golem, which is where a lot of people go down this route, put him on a tank or some sort of character they want to make tankier. That's going to allow you to soak up physical damage from all types, whether it's piercing or missile or slashing. Is a very good thing for you to go down the defensive tree, but you don't have to if you don't want to, but we'll get to that in a minute here. Now, one of the other ones a lot of people go after also are the human killers. You can get a lot of human killer. You can get 15% human killers, so you can make like a bulky bruiser. This is typically what a lot of people do. They go down and they'll aim to make this bulky bruiser golem build, you know, put on like a high HP, high defense character with some decent damage, give him more defense, give him more damage for the arena with PvP, guild battles, all that stuff. This is typically what you're gonna be seeing a lot of people do, but you don't have to go down these 2 routes here. There's other things that are actually worth investing in Golem, and it's really gonna be dependent on what you're trying to accomplish as a player out there. But the other things that you can go ahead and do is you can actually increase your earth resistance by a lot. So this is going to give you significant elemental resistances. You're going to get 25 earth resistance. So if a character comes out in the future who is earth elemental, is pretty hype out in PvP, and you want to kind of shut that character down a little bit, then you can go ahead and you can go and spec into earth resistance, 25% earth resistance. That's going to cut that character's damage down by a 1/4, which is a lot. It's a lot of damage mitigation that you're getting right there. So you have earth mitigation and lightning mitigation on 1 unit. Now, the other thing that you can go ahead and do is you can actually spec into wind killer as well. And this is pretty odd for an earth Esper to actually have killers for what it's usually weak against, which in this case is wind. But you can pick up wind killer here, which is 15% increased damage to wind elemental enemies. And so you can go ahead and double down on this sort of effect, right? Because wind units are usually weak to ice. So you can go ahead and put Golem on an ice unit, right? Whether it's a tank or a damage dealer, whatever it is, put it on an ice unit, give him the wind killer, and then give him the human killer. And you're going to really be doubling down on just destroying those wind units with Golem being on that character. So there's a lot of cool stuff you can do with Golem. Bulky, bruiser, somewhere in between, or earth resistance. Whatever one is going to be best is going to be dependent on what you're trying to use him for, and that's what I want to get across with this video. There's not one go-to solid, best in all circumstances build for every Esper. You can go ahead and min and max their board based on what you're trying to accomplish in PvE or PvP, and depending on what sort of character you're making. So that is going to be Golem. The next one to be going over is Ifrit. And Ifrit is the jack of all trades. A lot of people kind of pull him for the card because that big 50% attack party ability there. But what does he do as an Esper for you guys? So he's got a couple cool things that he can do here for you. He's got, just like Golem, a little bit of the increased evasion 7. This is a pretty popular thing, right? Evasion meta coming out. You get a little bit of extra evasion. Some of the more popular UR and MR Espers actually just have 7 evasion in their skill tree here. Other things that he does have access to, he does have increased attack 2% and 5%, so 7% total. He's got a little bit of accuracy here. And then the other 2 big things, especially for PvP, that you can go in for is he does have missile resistance. You can get 15% missile resistance, so you can kind of make Ifrit like a bulking up against a missile meta, right? Lucia, Frederica, characters of that nature. You can go ahead and put Ifrit on a character you're trying to make more bulky against these missile damage dealers. You can go ahead and do that. And then also he does have Ice Killer, which we just kind of talked about what you'd be using that for with the Golem build. So you can go and min and max each different thing that you want here. If you want a bit of every world here, as you can see, this build right here, you can go ahead and make 425 SP. This gives you the 7 accuracy, the 7 evasion, the missile resistance, a little bit of 2% attack there, and then you can really get in almost all of that Ice Killer at the very end. You're missing a little bit of Ice Killer that you can trade off the missile resistance and this 10% or this 2% attack increase and pick that up as well if you really want to make him hammer down those ice characters, because he does get up to 25% Ice Killer. So now with Odin being the next, he's going to be a lot easier to do compared to all the other Espers we've tackled, and this is going to be because he's known for one big thing. This is the human killer on his board. So you're picking this human killer up on this board no matter what it is that you're doing, guys. The other things that you can pick up with him, though, are also very powerful. He has missile resistance that you can pick up. He also has access to slashing resistance that you can pick up. Or he also has slashing attack up that you can pick up. So if you want to be more tanky versus one of the 2 specific types, missile or slashing, you go down that route. Or if you want to make yourself do even more damage, definitely go down the slashing attack up. This is going to increase your damage more than picking up the 2 and 5% attack is going to be doing, because the attack percent is your base attack. Now, if you're using Odin as a damage dealing type sort of Esper and you're not using slashing attack, you're using piercing or missile or something of that nature, or striking, go ahead and pick up the 7% attack and then pick up some of the extra things like the evasion, some of the slash resist or missile resist. That's where you're going to be merging a little bit there, is when you're trying to use him on a non-slashing attack character. You don't care primarily for making them as bulky as possible. If you're caring more about trying to do as much damage as possible and you want even the smallest gain, then you'll be picking up the attack 2 and 4% there, or 2 and 5%, excuse me. But with that being said, Odin, pretty easy to do. Pick up Man Killer and then go down one of the 3 trees. Not that difficult of an Esper for you guys to be building out there. Now, the next one here is Ramu. Ramu, in my opinion, is like one of my least favorite Espers. Doesn't have a lot of stuff really going on. Okay, he's got your traditional, he's got some evasion up, he's got some magic attack bonus, he has some magic percent, and then he's got stuff like Water Killer, right? You have Water Killer, Aquatic Killer, which is not the same as Water Killer. Aquatic Killer means like frogs and things of that nature, things that are actual aquid monsters like fish. But Water Killer is the element of water, so he's got extra Water Killer, he has Earth Resistance, but just like a free, picking up Earth Resistance for him is really weird because he's weak to Earth, so you're really mitigating a weakness here and trying to spend points to mitigate a weakness than to, instead of making him as strong as possible, making him like a meta sort of build, right? Very different than what you were able to do with Golem, where you're like, I can have 25 Earth Resistance and 10 lightning resistance on the same Esper. Throw that on a character and they're gonna be walking around doing a bunch of stuff. If you're gonna go fight an Earth character, just take Ramu off in that case. If you're worried about taking too much damage, just take him off. Now, the other thing he can do is increase your strike resistance. The way I would build him, though, guys, I would just get my magic attack bonus, I get my magic percent, and then I get my Water Killer. If you're worried about doing as much damage as you can to water-type characters, then maybe take off the evasion if you don't care about the evasion, the accuracy, all that other stuff. Maybe take off some of this magic up here of 30. And then you'll be able to fill up the final 10% Water Killer there. But that's only if you're really trying to destroy those water enemies. And they're really not that prevalent in the game at this moment. So moving away from Ramu, we're going to Shiva. Shiva's in a very similar boat to Ramu is, both of them being Espers of the magic variety. So you're going to be going in there, picking up magic attack bonus, picking up magic percent. And this is probably how I'm going to do mine. Wind Killer, magic percent, magic attack bonus, increase accuracy. So the magic Espers here are a lot easier to do than the other Espers were with slashing resistance and missile resistance, because those are some of the most popular types of damage dealers in the game right now. Whereas piercing damage dealers and striking damage dealers, like, they exist, but they're really not that popular in PvP. So there's not a real big reason to go ahead and spend all your points and resources trying to counter them with these specific Espers. You can have an Esper or two like that if you want to, but it doesn't need to be these particular ones, and it doesn't need to be these magic Espers where you're trying to counter the other physical damage dealers. Because if you're putting a magic Esper on a mage, and those mages get too close to the people who have big long spears and want to shove them through your heart, you probably shouldn't be that close to him. So let's go to the next one here, which is going to be Siren. Siren is an often overlooked Esper, but is one of my personal favorites. She's very fast. She has decent HP pool. And the most important thing here, she gives you 25% slash resistance. So you can get in here, get that slash resistance. That's really what she's known for. You can get 7 evasion, you can get 7 accuracy. And then after that, you can kind of do whatever it is that you want. So you can increase your pierce attack as well, if that is your jam. But do know that taking the slash resist on her is going to take away the vast majority of your SP. 245 of the SP here for going down that tree. A little bit more expensive than some of the other trees in some situations, with this last node being 90-70 or 70-90 instead of something like 40-80 that you see, as you can see in the Beast Killer right here. This is like 40 SP and 80. This one is 70 SP into 90. But this is how I'm going to build her up: accuracy, evasion, slash resist, then maybe I'll throw in like crit hit rate or something of that nature. If you're using Pierce Attacker, I would tell you to go ahead and use one of the previous Espers like Ifrit in the future for your Pierce Attack up. If you're running 2 Pierce Attackers, then maybe you're going to have to sacrifice some of your slash resist here for the secondary Pierce Attack tree. But slash resistance is just so powerful that even though she has minus 10% lightning resistance, right, and the Orlando's walking around, the 25% slashing mitigation, if you're doing like a slashing mitigation build, that outweighs the negative 10 lightning weakness, right? 25 slashing resistance and 10 lightning weakness is going to be better than 0 lightning weakness and 15 slashing resistance, especially in a slashing resistance build, because you're going to be stacking that mitigation up so high that it's going to matter every single time you increase that mitigation. So that's definitely what you want to be doing with our girl Siren here. Now, after Siren, we're going to be getting into the MR characters, and these ones also have very, 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 very strong builds, with Behemoth being someone actually that is probably pulling a lot of weight in your guild wars and guild battles if you have him built right. This is because he does give you a lot of cool things. So he does give you accuracy, and this is how I built him right now: accuracy, attack percent, light killer, and slashing attack up. When some of the most popular big beefy, I almost said briefy, check my underwear real quick, big beefy characters out there, URs, Engelbert and Thancred, some of the biggest. If you go against somebody like that, you're going to have this guy in your back pocket. He's going to be giving you some extra damage against light enemies. And if you really want to go all in, you can take all this other stuff off, take that attack 8% off, and then drop this evasion rate up. And you can even go down here and pick up all of the light killer, all your slashing attack up, increase your attack percent, increase your evasion rate by a little bit, and grab this increased accuracy. And this is going to be your Orlando best friend, any sort of slashing damage dealer. This is what you'll be putting on to try to eviscerate, do bonus damage to those Thankreds, do bonus damage to those Engelberts right now in PvP, because you're going to be getting slash attack up, which is huge. Attack 3%, plus another 4%, which is pretty mighty powerful there. But then you're going to be getting all that extra light killer, which is amazing, amazing, amazing advantage here for you guys out there. That is definitely how I would build Behemoth. Light killer, slashing up, and attack percent. That is what you're using him for. Put him on your biggest slashing damage dealer and go to town. Now, we've Iron Giant as well, which is very similar to our man Behemoth, but unlike Behemoth, he is like the reverse of Behemoth, where Behemoth has a lot of damage and then some specialty damage with his light killer. You could do that with the dark killer for Iron Giant. He does have dark killer out there, but there's not a lot of super popular tanks right now that are dark element, Whisper being the only one, and it's really hard to use Whisper right away. You probably won't be seeing Whispers be used to their full capabilities until a couple of months from now at the minimum. But what you can do with Iron Giant is you can make a very beefy, bulky bruiser slashing damage dealer. This is probably going to be like Orlando's best friend, all right, because you can get slashing attack up and a slashing resistance with 7 evasion, 3 accuracy, and 3% attack there. So you're going to be gaining 15 big slashing attack up. No, 17 slashing attack up with 15% slashing resistance. So a little bit more slashing attack than Behemoth does. A little bit of tiny attack. Remember, like I said before, in case you skipped over it, the attack percents and the way that they work in this game, they don't factor in all of your attack. They factor in your character's base attack. This is from leveling from 1 to 99, as well as the stats you get from leveling your jobs from 1 to 15. They don't even factor in the extra attack you get from filling out your job boards. Okay, so very small increases there. It does matter, but when you're comparing it to putting Iron Giant on a slashing damage dealer, this is definitely something that you want to be doing there. Now, if you're not using slashing damage, then of course you can get rid of the slashing damage. You get the 8% here, you get the 4% here, and then you go ahead and you can get some Dark Killer and be on your way there. You can put this on anyone. This is kind of an any man's Esper now, but he's not nearly as strong as an any man's Esper as when he is a slashing damage Esper. He gets the slashing up, make himself do a lot of more damage, slashing resistance to counter anyone else trying to do more damage to you that is slashing, and then go from there. So Iron Giant is very powerful Esper in the meta right now, and I think a lot of people actually look over just how strong he is. So next tier, we have Lamia Queen. Very quickly, what would you use Lamia Queen for? Ice Killer. Pretty much Ice Killer right now. If you're using striking damage as well, you can go ahead and use her as a striking damage Esper where you increase your strike attack. Okay, she has attack percent as well as strike attack up, but really Ice Killer is what you're using her for. Nothing super crazy. She doesn't have like a Man Eater or anything of that nature. No super strong abilities to be working on for her. I don't really like her that much as an Esper, to be honest with you, and I'm probably going to ignore her for quite a while in the long run, just because she's striking right now, to be honest, to be blunt. Oh my god, to be blunt, I really did not mean that's a joke, I guess. Just really not that powerful. Just really not that powerful. There's only like one UR character that even tries to do blunt damage right now. It's their main job, and that's Ziza. And a lot of those blunt attacks, they don't really have that high mods. And a lot of the time, as the only UR character that has blunt main job, she's better off on Thief doing other stuff. So super crazy. Lamia Queen, really not her time yet. But outside of Lamia Queen, we have Malboro, which is going to be another striking attack Esper, but she does have one other thing. If we want to work on a striking attack Esper right now, this is the one for you to be working on. And this is because not only does she have striking attack up, she also has the all-powerful 7 dodge in her build, but she also has increased magic resistance. So if you want to have someone that does striking damage gets in there, or if you just want someone to do magic resistance, you can do that as well. On top of that, in case you don't have anyone that's doing striking damage, you can focus on getting your Earth Killer up too, because she is going to be a Wind Esper, so she's going to give you a little bit of wind resistance, or Earth resistance, excuse me, wind resistance. So you can get a little bit of Earth resistance, a little bit of magic resistance, and then you're going to be getting that Earth Killer to start doing bonus damage to Earth targets. So it's going to be a good way for you to power through those mons, things of that nature, while resisting those mages out there as well. Because remember, this Esper right here with this build, you can see you get your ice resistance up in these 2 nodes at the end of the day. You're going to have +1 ice resistance. Not -1, +1 ice resistance. So if you're trying to go up against Medina, you're going to have 1 ice resist, you're going to have 15 magic resist, and then you're going to be able to go through the Mont and stuff. It's going to be a good time for you out there in War of the Vision. So that's going to be Malboro, but the last one we're talking about is actually going to be Cactuar. So Cactuar stats, number 1, are very, very low because of the rarity of the Esper that he is. However, his board allows you to do some very, very powerful things with where the meta is right now, and we'll be there for a while in War of the Visions here. So what you can do with him, very, very powerful, if you want to laser target down very popular targets in PvP, Frederica, Orlando, he can give you 15% human killer and 15% lightning killer. You can also increase your crit rate by 5, and you also can eke out a little bit of earth resistance. So you can resist mons that are running around everywhere trying to hit your tank or whoever it is you put this on. You can also do a lot of bonus damage to the 2 most popular damage dealers in War of the Visions right now. So he's a very, very good anti-meta pick. Now, he is not going to give you any sort of slashing attack up or piercing attack up or missile attack up bonuses, but Cactuar can come in there and do some very, very strong things for you. This is a pretty powerful pick too to put on someone like Frederica, right? Because Frederica doesn't really have a lot of options for Espers that give her a missile attack up as a stat. So you can replace that lack of missile attack up. There's no really choice to that. There's like Float Eye, who also goes bad stats. You can pick up the Lightning Killer up, so you can damage other Orlandos, damage other Fredericas. Human Killer, so you damage everyone else by 15% more. And then if a Mont does get to you, maybe the 8% Earth Resist here is going to help you a little bit, okay? So it's a very, very popular pick to put on a lot of different characters. If you don't have a lot of Espers to work on, this is definitely the one Esper you guys should be working on in War of the Vision. So thank you guys for spending a little bit of your time here today. Hopefully this Esper overview and builds helped you kind of weed through what you were needing and finding on Espers in the universe out there on the worldwide web of the worldwide Esper web. But thanks for spending some of your time here. Thank you guys so much for the support. If you want to see more videos like this, then go ahead, catch us on Twitch. Come and hang out in the Discord. We've been farming a lot of the multiplayer. And until the next one, guys, stay safe out there, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, guys.